Hello and welcome. The January transfer window is properly up and running now, and there are rumours left, right, and centre. And it's looking like it could be a one out, one in kind of job at Leeds United at the moment. So we've got a lot of big Leeds United news to dive into, and we're going to have to start with something that isn't Leeds United news because it's something that I noticed when I was looking through my numbers. Only 8% of you are subscribed. That's absolutely insane. Subscribe if you haven't yet. It's massively appreciated and it's one click. First up, Robin Koch is set to leave permanently to Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm sure, however, that no one is surprised. It was bound to happen. He was out of contract at the end of the season. We've just been tripped up by one of those Victor Orta weird loan deal things. If it was a permanent move, we would have got a lot more money out of him. It wasn't a permanent move, and we've been diddled a little bit. Let's be honest, it's not the biggest loss because although he was good-ish here, he was never like pulling up trees or really proving himself to be something special. He's one of those players I would have liked if it would have gone better for him, but I kind of wish him the best because I understand where he's coming from. I'd just rather he didn't try and snake us. When it comes to interest in other players for Leeds United, we've discussed one of the outs. Let's discuss one of the ins. There's a potential move for Nico Williams, who is currently playing at Nottingham Forest. He's a right back at Nottingham Forest, but he's not getting too many minutes. In terms of his minutes, it's understandable that he's not getting many because A, he's still very young and developing as a footballer, but B, he was part of that big raft of like 40 players that Nottingham Forest bought at the start of last season. When everyone was like, what are you doing? Why are you buying so many players? Obviously, not everyone's going to play. And I feel like Nico Williams was a little bit of a victim of that. He was sort of unlucky to go to a club that ended up buying an entire football league worth of players. So he's someone that could quite easily be bought because they don't need him and they are potentially running into financial trouble at the moment. He also has some very clear signs of quality. Plus, he's Welsh. That's a very nice quality as well. In terms of young Welsh players, we seem to be buying their entire national team, but it's not been a problem really so far because James has been decent, Rodon's been decent, Ampadu's been decent, and Nico Williams is a good player. So, sod it. I say we keep on committing to it. We've also had continued links to Connor Roberts. I can't remember. Is Connor Roberts also Welsh? 1 second. This is just going to take a moment, so I'm 100% certain. He is. Connor Roberts is also Welsh. We're linked with two Welsh players. Fantastic. However, it's been said that that move is not exactly imminent. There's been no real movement on that front. And I think Graham Smith mentioned that it wouldn't necessarily make sense for Burnley because they've not got a load of depth in that position. They've got a little bit, but not tons. And that could be an issue for them. He's played 12 matches for them in the Premier League so far this season, got an assist. He did get sent off at one point, which isn't ideal. But in terms of things that are ideal, he has said he is open to the move, which is always good. When you've got a player in the Premier League who has very clear signs of quality and you're a team in the Championship, it can be hard to sort of tempt people to come down. The idea that Connor Roberts is open to the move and available is definitely a good thing. There are, however, questions around one more outgoing, and this is the final story I'm going to run through for the day, and it is Joe Gelhardt. Now, Joe Gelhardt has had sort of struggles at Leeds United. It's hard to see where he fits at the moment. We signed him thinking he might be a 9. He ended up not being. He's a more creative player that likes having the ball at his feet, likes having his back to defenders, using his bum, throwing his weight about a bit and trying to get around players. He did have an absolutely spectacular moment in the season we did stay up when he set up that assist for Pascal Struijk against Norwich, I think. Or was Norwich the one he scored against? Either way, got a nice goal and an assist in consecutive games, and he really showed that he could be a valuable player, but he doesn't seem to fit into this system, especially when you've got Piru and Rutter, who can both play as 10s, sort of Bamford at the 9, who is in incredible form at the minute, and it's hard to see where he fits in the current squad. There is interest from Celtic and Rangers, and that is very good to see because you know that he's a player that can develop at those clubs. Celtic and Rangers tend to be very good at picking up top-level Championship players, turning them into even higher players when it comes to their development, and eventually selling them back to the Premier League once Premier League clubs are like, oh yeah, they were quite good. And I feel like that would very likely be the case for Joe Gelhardt. In the ideal world, I think this would end up as a loan deal, purely because if we were to sell him, then we're only getting a fixed amount of money back. I feel like we definitely profit on Joe Gelhardt, without a doubt, because we bought him for £1 million, and now he's one of the more promising players in terms of attacking positions. But then again, you can't see if he does develop at Celtic or Rangers and then negotiate something further later down the line. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think if all these deals were to get done, so Gelhardt out on loan wouldn't be a bad thing. Roberts and Nico Williams in would be absolutely fantastic because they'd add a little bit more depth, but we'll see. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did, subscribe if you haven't yet, as I mentioned earlier, and I will see you later.